Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Taking a look at radar, we have showers back to our west, gradually moving into our area. I'll let you know when you'll see rain and how much.
I-440 trash fire. A truck dumped a burning load of garbage, causing lengthy morning delays. Why the driver says he made that decision to spill it. And protecting your child. Today, kids on their way to kindergarten can get vaccinated in Wake County. The push from health leaders to keep students safe from disease. A lot of stories we're covering this morning on WRAL News on Fox 50. Thanks for joining us this Tuesday. I'm Chris Lovingood. We want to swing over to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner because, you know, Elizabeth, I'm not hating the core temperature that we have here, but we have some activity brewing.
We do, boy. It's been very interesting. Lots of changes since our heat wave broke. And so it's a little bit different pattern for today. Cloudy skies, cool temperatures, and some patchy light rain. And you can see some of that trying to work its way into our area. The northern part of Moore County, parts of Chatham County, Orange County, and up in Person County, starting to see some of that light rain. Whatever we see today is likely to be fairly light and patchy. It's a 30% chance through lunchtime and a 40% chance later on this afternoon. Watching the tropics too. Tropical storm Dexter continues to weaken with 40-mile-per-hour winds, about 5 miles less than yesterday. It's well north of Bermuda now and headed to the North Atlantic, so that one's not going to be an issue for us. We have cloudy skies right now in Durham, 69, dew point 64, so still comfortable. A fairly dry air mass still in place, but that'll change through the afternoon as the rain moves in. We stay very cool today. Temperatures in the upper 70s compared to 90, which is our normal high for today. We're stuck in a pattern called cold air damming. Meteorologist Chris Michaels will explain what that means and how long we may be in that pattern coming up. Ken?
Elizabeth, we are staying on top of that situation in northern Durham County. We're talking about I-85. There are a couple of crashes, one near Red Mill Road. It's sort of in the clearing phase, but you can still see the delays it's causing. There's another crash up farther up the road on I-85 south on near the Highway 15 entrance ramp there in Granville County. And tell you, if you have anybody stuck in this I-85 traffic, tell them to get off on any one of those exits in Granville County, Creedmoor Road, 501, maybe Highway 15, and get around it, because this is the scene at I-85 and Red Mill Road. The tow trucks just showed up. The ambulance just showed up as well. And you can see first responders still working that scene. That's down to one lane at this point. In terms of other routes coming into the Bull City, very little to no delays. I do want to isolate I-885 because I'm seeing some delays in that particular area. If you're going into Durham this morning, you're looking at a 5-minute delay. If you're using 885 to get to I-40, you're just looking at a 3-minute delay. In Wake County, we're seeing traffic really building up on the northern and southern loop of the Beltline as well. So in terms of what we're seeing there, these are the eastbound lanes coming toward us. These are the westbound lanes going away from us this morning on that southern loop of the Beltline. But in terms of other routes coming into the capital city, very little to no delays. Of course, Fins in Wake Forest, you know the drill. You have a situation happening where you're looking at a 9-minute delay if you're coming in on US 1 Capitol Boulevard. You're getting ready to head into the car. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Well, traffic is flowing again on I-440 West after a backup that was caused by a garbage truck dumping a burning load of trash. That happened near the Lake Boone Trail exit around 5:30 this morning. You can see it right there scattered across the road. Raleigh police say the fire started in the back of the truck and the driver dumped the load to avoid damaging the vehicle. Backups lasted for more than an hour as teams worked to clean up that mess. A woman is seriously hurt because an SUV hit her in Raleigh. Police say that this happened around midnight on Pool Road. The WRAL breaking news tracker was there this morning, and police say the driver was cooperating with them. The victim was hit, was taken to the hospital, and she is in critical condition. A Johnston County priest was arrested on church grounds because he was accused of hiring a prostitute. The Johnston County Sheriff's Office says Clemente Alvera Guerrero is the priest, and he is accused of arranging the meeting with 20-year-old Jaquavis Brinson over an app. Brinson is also facing charges with this. The two were arrested at St. Anne Catholic Church on US 70 Business early yesterday morning, and both have since bonded out of jail. The Diocese of Raleigh oversees St. Anne, and it did confirm to WRAL Alvera Guerrero was suspended while the investigation plays out. Prosecutors say the man accused of killing a 10-year-old girl while boating drunk tried to get rid of the alcohol on his boat. Now, Quentin Kite received 2 additional charges in court yesterday: recklessly operating a boat and driving impaired, causing serious injury. 10-year-old Brooklyn Carroll died in that crash on Saturday. Jennifer Staley was seriously hurt and lost her leg. Investigators say Kite had been looking backward at a tube that he was pulling during the crash, and Kite is behind bars on a $500,000 bond. Parents, we are just 20 days away until students return to school in Wake County. And today there is an opportunity to have your child vaccinated ahead of the school year. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey joins us from the Southern Regional Center. And Kelsey, immunization rates have actually gone down year over year.
Yes, Chris, they have. So that's why today you can bring your child here to the Southern Regional Center to get vaccinated. These back-to-school vaccine clinics that are happening across Wake County are all opening just in time for the first day of school. North Carolina law requires specific vaccines for students entering kindergarten, 7th, and 12th grade. These vaccine clinics are opening as immunization numbers are going down nationwide. Here's a breakdown of vaccination rates for Wake County kindergartners over the past 3 years. Last year's rate went up to just over 94%, but that's still below the 95% that's needed for herd immunity. Tina Payton with Wake County Public Health says offering the measles vaccine is a top priority at these back-to-school clinics.
Because of that decline in the number of people immunized, we've started to see measles outbreak. So that will be one of the vaccines that we are offering this time. And it is important because the more of us that are immunized, the less opportunity there is for outbreak.
So you can bring your kindergartner, 7th grader, or 12th grader to get vaccinated today. This clinic here will be open until 5:30, or rather will be opening at 5:30 and closing at 7:30. You can get a full list of all of the back-to-school vaccine clinics on our website, WRAL.com. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Fuquay Arena.
Just a heads up, parents, school calendars would change for 2 additional Wake County schools under a new proposal. North Forest Pines and Pleasant Union Elementary Schools in Raleigh would switch from year-round to traditional calendars. Feedback to the district has so far shown to be strong in terms of opposition among families and staff members. However, WRAL's education reporter tells us this isn't something new.
Wake County did this last year to 2 middle schools that were in northern Wake County. The pattern we're kind of seeing is that a lot of these schools in northern Wake County and in Wake Forest and Raleigh, even Rollsville, they were kind of planned and scheduled anticipating a lot of overcrowding. They need these year-round calendars. And then they didn't end up being as bursting at the seams as people thought. And now they're kind of, operating on these year-round calendars, and they're really below capacity.
Now, the district would save $200,000 on the change because schools wouldn't have to be open every day anymore. A man is back in jail after the Harnett County Sheriff's Office says that he escaped from county jail. Angelo Rene Rivera, that's the person, and he was captured about a mile from the jail. Sky 5 captured the moment this happened. You can see him right there being loaded into a squad vehicle. Deputies said they didn't know how he managed to escape, but he is facing charges because of it. And that's in addition to the multiple drug charges he was already facing. A tractor-trailer driver accused of being on his phone. That is what happened when he crashed into vehicles and he killed 5 people, according to investigators. This happened along I-95 in Wilson County last summer. The NTSB's recent report gave more specifics on this. The driver was Charles Haskell. He faces 5 counts of misdemeanor death by motor vehicle. The report found Haskell sent text messages and was on the phone at the time of the crash into 4 different vehicles. His next hearing is scheduled for August 22nd. Leadership in Virginia says the Danville City Council member who was set on fire has burns on more than 60% of his body. Lee Vogler is who I'm talking about. He is being treated at UNC Health's Burn Center in Chapel Hill. He had his first surgery last Friday. Investigators say that a man attacked him over a personal issue. A newly released DMV audit highlights problems within the agency, and this includes a shortage of workers, outdated technology, and the relationship between the DMV and DOT. Folks, these are things we have told you about for years. Auditor Dave Bullock suggests the DMV should no longer be a part of the DOT.
We got to do better. We just have to do better. And I know, look, it takes time to do this, and it takes money, all right? But we've shown when we have a need. We saw it this past year in Western North Carolina, and we have a need, and we've got something that's emergency. Look, I'll go back to what I saw this morning. I saw people camped out in line in front of the Avent Ferry DMV. That's not acceptable in North Carolina.
That agency and the DMV Commissioner, Paul Tyne, already responded to the audit. They disagree with the decision to make an autonomous agency. We reached out to the governor's office for his response and are waiting to hear back. 5 on Your Side has asked the new DMV Commissioner about many of the problems listed, and you will find that reporting in the 5 on Your Side section of WRAL.com. An international tech company expanded its footprint in Raleigh. Hitachi Energy took over more space at the Centennial campus along Main Street. The company plans to hire about 100 more workers by the end of this year. Hitachi has operations on all 5 floors of that building, and the company is based in Switzerland. It focuses efforts on renewable energy and the power grid. Tests of the Eno River show the bacteria levels in several spots are safe once again. Flooding from Chantal created concerns up and down that river. People were urged to not swim in it because of bacteria. And some of the cleared areas include access near Eno River Brewing. The state park is still closed with damage from that storm. All month long, we are helping area animals find forever homes during the Clear the Shelters adoption event. Wake County Animal Center is one of the shelters a part of this. They are waiving adoption fees now through August 31st. To learn more about this and to find a shelter near you, go to WRAL.com/shelters. Your time is 8:11. Flesh-eating bacteria, the danger that could be lurking in warm, salty water on our coast. The warning signs to look for while at the beach. Plus a ceiling collapse. New video shows water pouring from the ceiling at Atlanta's airport. The work teams are facing to get this mess cleaned up.
And this morning, rain has been to our west. It's gradually starting to creep into our viewing area. I'll show you how much you could see and when. 8:14. I continue to watch this band of rain that's back to our west. It's fairly light and it's slow moving. It's just gradually creeping into our western counties. As we get through the day today, eventually it'll make it toward the 95 corridor, but that may be mid to late afternoon. Whatever we see today is going to be scattered and fairly light. It's a 30% chance through mid-afternoon and then a 40% chance into the latter part of the afternoon. We're going to change our weather pattern up pretty dramatically for tomorrow, back to a chance of thunderstorms, which could produce some heavy downpours, and we're going to talk about when we could see some flooding possibly coming up. But it's nice and dry in Apex. I pulled up Apex, kind of thinking that might be one of the next places to see a few showers. Roxborough reporting a little light rain there at 64, 72 in Fayetteville, 69 in Garner, and 70 in Cary. So it's a quiet start this morning. Our temperatures with all the clouds today will stay cool with temperatures in the upper 70s as we have what we call this cold air damming pattern, which meteorologist Chris Michaels is going to explain in just a couple minutes. Ken?
All right, Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. Boy, that situation in I-40, I-85 southbound in northern Durham County really beginning to clear up. Just the ambulance and the state trooper right now, they just hauled away all the vehicles, but we're still seeing that area of I-85 and the Red Mill Road down to one lane. But in terms of other routes coming into the capital, into Durham, we're just seeing a 4-minute delay if you're coming in on Highway 98, really, and nothing that's going to make you late. In terms of the capital city, the real trouble spot, Capitol Boulevard, US 1, our friends in Wake Forest, you're looking at an 8-minute delay.
All right, thank you, Ken. Democratic lawmakers in Texas who left the state in protest to new election maps are now facing arrest. The warrants were issued during yesterday's session of the Texas State House. The lawmakers left to prevent the Republican-led State House from moving forward with legislation to redraw district maps. Republican Governor Greg Abbott is threatening to send law enforcement to force them to return. A large group of protesters gathered outside the Texas governor's mansion last night.
Something has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho!
The picketers waved signs and chanting as they walked in front of the governor's mansion. What's called a flesh-eating bacteria might be lurking in the water off the North Carolina coast. It's actually called Vibrio, and this year there have been 59 confirmed cases in our state, and 1 person died. Vibrio lives in water and prefers warm ocean temperatures. Professor Rachel Noble works in the Department of Environmental Science and Engineering at UNC. Rachel says, yes, many Vibrio cases happen to people working in the seafood industry, but anyone spending time in shallow water is at risk.
And so if people become exposed to the water during that window of time, whether it's because they're recreating or fishing, or maybe they're working on the water because they are a seafood producer, those exposures can really increase.
She encourages anyone concerned about a potential infection to see a doctor. In severe cases, Vibrio infections can spread to the bloodstream in 6 to 10 hours. All right, you got to check this video out, right? You see that right there coming from the ceiling? That's at the Atlanta airport there, water gushing from above. Travelers captured this video at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport yesterday, and a spokesperson for the airport says teams are working to clean up and sanitize that space. The cause of the leak, that's still being looked into. And that situation, though, did not affect overall airport operations. A security checkpoint was temporarily closed, though. So today's weather situation is because of a unique pattern in part of the country. It's called cold air damming. And Chris, you have actually been answering 3 questions in today's Ask the Meteorologist. What is it? What does it cause, and how often do we see this?
Yeah, so cold air damming is something that's really unique to us, and as you step outside after that heat, it feels so heavenly out there. But let me just say, this is not something that's going to last very long for us. There you see that northeast breeze that comes in, and without the presence of the Appalachian Mountains, this wouldn't really do anything. But because of the mountains, that air rises up them, and it creates this dome of cooler air. Above that, you get this warm and moist air that's eventually going to lead to the chance for some light rain and some drizzle. That's something that Elizabeth has been tracking pretty much all morning long. Now, the thing is, it's rare this time of year. You usually get less than 1 day per August in which you have cold air damming. It's more common in the fall and in the winter months, at which point you get this. You get your ice storms, you get your winter storms to develop, especially in the foothills of the Piedmont and all the way up the Blue Ridge. This time around, obviously, that's not happening, but temperatures are well below average for a lot of us. Those of us west of I-95, today our high's about 10 to 15 degrees below the average for early August. We'll show you when things start to feel a little bit more like August coming up in Elizabeth's forecast.
I could definitely go for more fall. Thanks, Chris. A volcano in East Russia is erupting for the first time in 600 years. The volcano is in the Kamchatka region. It sent a column of ash more than 3 miles into the sky, and the volcano's last eruption happened around 1463. This eruption may be related to the huge earthquake that hit Russia last week. A new fungus of its kind discovered in Durham was published in a newly released research paper. It's kind of cool. Researchers found it in the New Hope Creek Preserve in 2021. All right, I'm not going to trouble you with the Latin name. I will not butcher that, but it does include a reference to New Hope. What's unique about it is that the fungus seems to support the oak trees in the area, and those oak trees are the home to much of the biodiversity in the area. A sea turtle is being nursed back to health thanks to an officer who stepped in to help. A Surf City police officer was at the pier this weekend when a fisherman accidentally hooked a sea turtle. The officer took that injured turtle to the Karen Beasley Rescue and Rehabilitation Center, and the center helps turtles injured or sick. It's amazing when people go above the call of duty, even for our creatures. All right, swinging over to weather with meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. I feel like the situation weather-wise, we've kind of been a roller coaster, and now we've got a little bit of rain on deck.
You know, we were in that stagnant pattern with, more than a week of a heat wave. And then all of a sudden, boy, things have really gotten exciting. Lots of big changes. Of course, beautiful weather over the weekend, a different pattern today that Chris was just explaining, and then an even different pattern for tomorrow, and then possibly some tropical weather. So a pretty busy week for us. Here's a look at just that light rain that's starting to creep into the viewing area. The northern part of Moore County, western Chatham County, northern Orange County, Person County is where we're seeing some of that rain right now. We'll zoom in. Getting a little closer to Durham, but from, say, Hillsborough up toward Roxborough, we've seen a few sprinkles in Chapel Hill, Siler City, and even Pittsburgh has seen some of those showers, but it's very slow moving. What we're going to see with this cold air damming pattern, of course, is that wind coming out of the northeast. It sits here at the surface and cools things down, creates cloudy skies, and even a few light showers. We're going to take a look at that sort of from a 3D version, and you can see that northeasterly wind locked in above it as a southwesterly wind, and those together create a very stagnant pattern for us. It's cloudy with some light rain and typically with temperatures that are cooler than normal. As Chris said, it's a pattern that tends to happen more like fall, winter, early spring, but we do see it on a rare occasion this time of year. So at lunchtime, more of the rain still just in our western counties, but mid to late afternoon, it begins to move farther east into some of our eastern counties. We're going to see almost everybody with some rain today, but it's likely to be not very heavy, looking at potentially around 1/4 inch or less for today. We change the pattern again tomorrow. It's likely to be more thunderstorms, which could produce some heavier rain with more moisture in the atmosphere, an average of about 3/4 inch for Wednesday and Thursday, and then a little bit less than that after that. Watching the tropics, up there is Dexter, which is on its way out of the picture. It has winds at 40 miles per hour, headed up into the North Atlantic where it will dissipate. But this is the next system. We talked about it a little bit yesterday. Could develop here off the coast to the southeast. Thursday through Saturday, it could produce some heavier rain. We'll already looking at a better chance for rain. But if that one develops, it's just going to add to the moisture that starts to move in across our area a little more heavily tomorrow. So Wednesday and Thursday, tomorrow and Thursday, we have a low risk for flooding, and that may continue into, say, Friday and Saturday, depending on the development of that low, possibly as much as 2 to 3 inches of rain in the next 7 days. Temperatures remain nice and cool until we get to Monday, where we could be back into the 90s, Ken.
All right, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. A handful of incidents starting on live traffic sensors this morning, but the two that I want to bring your attention to really is in northern Durham County, that's on I-85 in the southbound lanes. This crash near Red Mill Road is in the clearing phase and pretty much cleared up, but you can still see the huge delays it's causing because there's another crash just farther up the street near the Highway 15 entrance ramp. So if you have a family member stuck in this traffic on I-85, you might want to tell them to get off in any Granville County exit. But this was the situation right here. You can see the remnants of that crash in terms of the spots there on the road. But we're seeing traffic flowing nicely in all directions.
Time's 8:23. Back to school boost. Wake County is making it easier for your child to get their required vaccines. The push to get more children protected as the new school year approaches.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning, friends. Your time is 8:26. I'm Chris Lovingood. I do want to go over to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner because it appears there's some activity on your radar there.
So I've been tracking this band of rain that's been around the Triad to Charlotte really for the last several hours. It's very, very slowly moving closer to our viewing area. It's kind of nice that we didn't see much of that during the bulk of the morning commute, but we do have a small chance of seeing some showers. It's pushing in from the west. It picks up just a little bit later on this afternoon at 40%. Whatever we see today is likely to be light and patchy. It's going to be gray all day long, and temperatures will be cool. Right now, 69 in Wilson and Durham, 72 in Fayetteville. Our high this afternoon will be in the upper 70s. And walking the dog, you might need an umbrella from time to time.
All right, traffic is flowing nicely again on I-85 in the southbound lane because of a crash that cleared just a short time ago, but there's still a second crash a little farther up the street near the Highway 15 entrance ramp in Granville County. But in terms of routes coming into the Bull City, very little to no delays, just 3 minutes if you're coming in from Highway 98 and the capital city. A real troubled spot, as usual, this time of the morning. Friends in Wake Forest, you're looking at a 7-minute delay if you're coming in on Capitol Boulevard, US 1, if you will.
Police said a woman is in critical condition because an SUV hit her in Raleigh. That happened around midnight on Pool Road. The driver involved is cooperating with police, and the woman who was hit was taken to the hospital. A new proposal would change calendars for 2 additional schools in Wake County. North Forest Pines and Pleasant Union Elementary schools in Raleigh would switch from year-round to traditional calendars. The district received strong opposition from family and staff on that proposal. Next on Fox 50, the garbage truck fire that delayed the morning commute on I-440. And up next on Today, Fon Yang on Las Culturatas Award. We'll dive into that a little bit more.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your #1 source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
A very slow-moving band of rain sits to our west. I'll show you what to expect from that as we get through the day today.
Plus, an SUV hit a woman. Pool Road is back open after it was closed for hours this morning. What we know about the victim's injuries. Plus, vaccination clinics. Today, families can get their kids protected ahead of the coming school year. The push from health leaders as vaccination rates remain below the recommended level. Those stories and others that we are following this morning on WRAL News on Fox 50. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Chris Lovingood. Right now, Elizabeth Gardner has her eyes kind of glued to the radar. It's been pretty active there, it appears, to our west there, Elizabeth, but are we going to see it here?
We will eventually see it here. What we'll see is light, patchy rain, and that will be with us on and off today. That band of rain has been just sitting to our west, mainly across the Triad and Charlotte, but gradually it's pushing into our area. Sort of that leading edge is bumping up against some dry air, and some of that has been evaporating. But seeing some of that in the northern part of Moore County, western part of Chatham County, northern Orange County, and across parts of Person County, too. Starting to creep into the northern part of Granville County now, too. So 30% chance between now and early afternoon. It bumps up to 40% as it finally arrives in some of our eastern counties, but expected to be fairly light and patchy, and we're going to talk about what some of the totals could be coming up. Following Dexter, it's a little weaker than yesterday with winds at 40 miles per hour. Tropical storm Dexter is headed off into the North Atlantic where it will dissipate in the next few days. So it's nothing that we're going to be concerned about. But this one we were talking about yesterday, now it's up to a 40% chance of development. We're watching for that to potentially Thursday through Saturday, where it could at minimum just add extra moisture into our area and bump up our chance for rain toward the end of the week. We'll talk more about that coming up too. Here in Roxborough, we are actually seeing some of that rain showing up on the camera. 69 with a dew point of 64. Our hour by hour forecast stays cloudy and cool all day today with highs in the upper 70s. Ken?
Elizabeth, here, we're staying on top of that situation in northern Durham County and I-85 in the southbound lanes. There are a couple of incidents that happened. The crash near Red Mill Road is completely cleared, but we're still seeing the lingering delays that stretches into another crash a little farther up the street near Redwood Road there on I-85 South. It's near the I-15, the Highway 15 entrance ramp, causing some huge delays, as you can see right there. Any Granville County exit, Highway 15 or even 501 would be your best bet. So if we take you outside, we'll show you what I'm talking about. This is the original crash there at Red Mill Road. You can see the remnants right there, and traffic is flowing nicely. But a little farther up the street, that delay is really taking shape. So I'll keep an eye on that for you. In terms of other routes heading into the Bowl City, very little to no delays on these major routes. I do want to isolate I-885 because I'm seeing a little bit of a delay there. If you're going into Durham this morning, you're looking at a 6-minute delay, probably around TW Alexander Drive. So keep that in mind. Nothing that's really going to make you late. Just remember that. In the capital city, really the only trouble spot, US 1, Capitol Boulevard at Finns and Wake Forest, you're looking at a 7-minute delay. You're coming into the capital city, you're coming in anywhere, heading into the car, tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
And traffic is moving again on I-440 West after a garbage truck dumping a load of trash caused a backup there. This happened near the Lake Boone Trail exit around 5:30 this morning. Raleigh police say that fire started in the back of the vehicle, and the driver dumped the load to avoid damaging the truck. Backups lasted for more than an hour as teams there cleaned up that mess on the road. Police say that a woman is seriously hurt because an SUV hit her. This happened around midnight on Pool Road near Carrier Drive. The WRAL Breaking News Tracker was at that scene this morning. The driver involved is cooperating with police, according to investigators, and the woman who was hit was taken to the hospital in critical condition. This morning, a Johnston County priest is suspended because he was accused of hiring a prostitute. Clemente Alvera Guerrero was arrested on church grounds around 1 a.m. yesterday morning. The Johnston County Sheriff's Office says deputies saw 20-year-old Jaquavius Brinson walking across the parking lot at St. Anne Catholic Church. Well, they then spotted the priest leaving the building. Guerrero is accused of contacting Brinson through an app to meet up, and the Diocese of Raleigh oversees St. Anne's. It says Guerrero will stay suspended while he's being investigated. Prosecutors say the man accused of killing a 10-year-old girl while boating drunk tried to get rid of the alcohol on his boat. Quentin Kite received 2 additional charges in court yesterday: recklessly operating a boat and driving impaired, causing serious injury. 10-year-old Brooklyn Carroll died in that crash on Saturday, and Jennifer Staley was seriously hurt and lost her leg in this. Investigators say Kite had been looking backward at a tube he was pulling during the crash, and Kite is in jail on a $500,000 bond. A project meant to redevelop Heritage Square and Durham's Hayti community. It's on hold for now. Developer Sterling Bay withdrew its rezoning request for the project last night. It planned to build lab spaces, offices, and residential units on that property. The developer also wanted to rezone for taller buildings there, but people from the Hayti community expressed concerns over the effect that this could have on the historical black neighborhood. Last night, the developer presented its entire case before announcing its decision.
Reality is a denial does not help the people of Hayti, but neither does 2 hours of public discourse when it's clear that the writing is on the wall. And so for that reason, we respectfully request that the council allow us to withdraw this case.
Mayor Leonardo Williams plans to schedule a meeting in the coming weeks, and he wants to discuss the future of the neighborhood where the project was planned. Parents, just a heads up, we are just under 20 days away until students return to school in Wake County. Today, there's an opportunity to have your child vaccinated ahead of the school year. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey joins us from the Southern Regional Center. And Kelsey, most of these clinics will be open throughout September.
Yes, Chris, they will. And today you can get your child vaccinated here at the Southern Regional Center. This is one of several back-to-school vaccine clinics that will be opening just in time for the first day of school. North Carolina law requires specific vaccines for students entering kindergarten, 7th, and 12th grade. These vaccine clinics are opening as immunization numbers are going down nationwide. Here's a breakdown of vaccination rates for Wake County kindergartners over the past 3 years. Last year's rate went up to just over 94%, but that's still below the 95% that's needed for herd immunity. Tina Payton with Wake County Public Health explains their message to parents about getting their children vaccinated.
What we want to do is inform you and give you objective information that is scientifically supported so that you can make the best decision for not only your child, but the children and families that your child comes in contact with.
You can bring your kindergartner, 7th grader, or 12th grader here to the clinic today. It will be open from 5:30 until 7:30. If you want a full list of all of these back-to-school vaccine clinics, just check it out on our website, WRAL.com. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Fuquay Arena.
And just a heads up, parents, school calendars would change for 2 additional Wake County schools under a new proposal. North Forest Pines and Pleasant Union Elementary Schools in Raleigh would switch from year-round to traditional calendars, I should say. Feedback to the district has revealed strong opposition among families and staff members, too.
But students and staff and parents have gotten really used to this calendar, and they really like it. They like having these longer breaks during the year when they're tracked out of their school. You know, you might get 3 weeks at a time. They like having shorter summers. They think it gives them kind of a work-life balance, maybe more time throughout the year to de-stress.
The district would save $200,000 with this change, and that's because schools wouldn't have to be open every day anymore, and thus less time on the clock for some staff. Wake Schools is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year as a countywide school system. White Wake County schools and black Raleigh City schools merged in 1976. The first magnet school opened that year after that. It drew white students into Raleigh to attend a gifted and talented program at Hunter Elementary. School system leaders are planning events, service projects, and fundraising for student needs and programming during this celebration.
What used to be a perk is now a priority. Jeff Hogan in the WR Live Center right now. Brand new analysis coming out by Reuters this morning, just released. It's showing that U.S. companies are spending record amounts to protect their executives. Corporations have doubled the number of plainclothes security teams outside of buildings in places like New York City ever since that shooting last week. 4 people were killed, including 2 high-profile Wall Street executives. And this goes all the way back also to the United Healthcare CEO killed in late 2024 in New York. Also, a Minnesota lawmaker and her Raleigh native husband killed in an attack. Executive security spending almost jumped by 120% over the last 3 years. And some companies like Intel expanded their security spending in just 1 year, 8,000%. They spent in 2023, they spent $3,000 on executive security. Last year, they spent $250,000.
A significant amount. Thank you, Jeff. Today, a Raleigh man accused of peeping inside a store's dressing room will be in court. 37-year-old Andre Longmire is charged with felony secret peeping. He's accused of filming someone in the Old Navy dressing room at Crossroads Plaza in Cary. Police say they identified him using security video from that store. This morning, we're hearing from the pilot who survived this crash landing off the coast of Oak Island this weekend. You can see the impact that sent the plane flipping over the water there. Well, Mark Finkelstein was the only one aboard, and he says he was just going for a simple 20-minute flight up and down Oak Island. And according to FlightAware, he was only in the air for about 13 minutes. He believes engine failure led to that crash.
Oh my God, a plane just crashed into the ocean. It's going down.
At some point, the engine started to lose power. So the RPMs started to go down. And at a certain point, the engine just stopped altogether and the propeller just stopped. And at that point, it was very clear that I was going to be making a landing in the water.
Ocean rescue crews were already in the area and were able to rescue Finkelstein, escaping with only a cut on his leg. The FAA is taking over this investigation. Times 8:41, smooth sailing in the sky. Folks, it can be tricky to travel with a child, especially with a baby. 5 on your side's Keely Arthur explains how you can avoid those travel woes on your next trip. And protecting firefighters. A study found firefighters are more than 50% more likely to die from skin cancer. A Raleigh firefighter with the disease told us how he hopes the job becomes safer to protect heroes.
844, still tracking this band of rain that's back to our west. Gradually, it will creep across our viewing area, especially later this afternoon, potentially making it to Fayetteville, Goldsboro, up toward Roanoke Rapids. It'll be light and patchy. It'll come with the waves of rain as we get through the day today. Just a 30% chance through lunchtime and into the afternoon, about a 40% chance. We take a live look at Apex. Kind of keep waiting to see, Apex is going to be, one of those first sort of, at least in Wake County, to end up seeing some of this light rain starting to push in the next few hours. Our temperatures are mid-60s to low 70s. It'll be noticeably warmer the farther north you go today. 72 in Fayetteville. Goldsboro is at 70 right now, but so is Cary. Roxborough is seeing some showers currently at 64. So exercise outside, absolutely. Just check the radar before you go out. Our temperatures are going to be comfortably cool in the upper 70s, but there will be some showers on and off. Ken?
All right, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. Here's what we're looking for in terms of this I-85 southbound situation. Things are beginning to clear up just a little bit. The crash at Red Mill Road is cleared up. This one near the Highway 15 entrance ramp still active just a little bit, but you still see the bit of yellow and red on the map, which means things definitely still congested a little bit. In terms of other major routes coming into the Bull City, you're looking at just a 4-minute delay if you're using Wade Avenue to get to Durham, just a 2-minute delay on Highway 98. Similarly, in the capital city, a real troubled spot is US 1 Capitol Boulevard coming in from Wake Forest. You're looking at an 8-minute delay.
When you see those delays, give yourself a little extra time. Thanks, Ken. Flying with the whole family, it can be a little tricky, especially with young children and babies. 5 on your side's Keely Arthur shares advice from seasoned parents and travel pros to help make your journey smoother.
Flying with a small child or a baby isn't always the easiest thing. We know it, but there are some steps you can take to lessen that bumpy ride. First things first, pack lots of diapers. Think 1 per every hour of travel, plus extras for any delays.
It sounds like a lot, but when you factor in layovers, delays, and unexpected messes, you'll be glad you did.
Next, extra clothes for everyone, not just your baby. You can tuck extra outfits into 1 or 2 gallon bags. That makes grabbing clean clothes a whole lot easier. Also, snacks, lots of them. Bite-sized and easy to eat, dried fruit, cereal, pouches are good choices. And don't forget extra formula or milk for your baby. TSA liquid limits don't apply to baby food and formula. Use a backpack-style diaper bag so you're hands-free. And CR named this Dagny Dover Indy best for travel. For strollers, the ultralight Nuna Travel is perfect for gate checking and folding with one hand. Safety experts recommend using an FAA-approved child car seat. It is the safest option during turbulence, and it can make naps much easier too. And it sounds like a no-brainer, but don't forget to bring some toys to distract your baby, and also get to the airport early to give yourself and your child plenty of time. Keely Arthur, 5 on your side.
New data shows what many firefighters have suspected for years. That job comes with an increased risk of cancer. The American Cancer Society looked at 30 years worth of data, and it found firefighters are 58% more likely to die from skin cancer. They're 40% more likely to die from kidney cancer. A Wake County fire chief diagnosed with melanoma 9 years ago says this highlights the importance of recent efforts to improve gear.
If they don't take the time to wipe down after a call, if they don't take the time to shower after the call, if they don't take time to clean their gear properly after the call, all that kind of goes away. So it's setting the culture. It's changing the mindsets of our people that dirty gear isn't acceptable and we won't tolerate it.
These are the people that are fighting to make sure that we're protected. A career of 30 years or longer was also linked to higher risk of dying from prostate and colorectal cancers. WRAL Investigates has extensively covered firefighter cancer risk and the work being done to reduce that risk. And you can see our reporting on WRAL.com. Just search the keywords firefighter cancer.
And right back here in the WRAL Live Center, Chris, you reported on this just a few hours ago here in the Live Center. We have some brand new video, though, that I wanted to show folks because it's just amazing to see. And fortunately, nobody was seriously hurt out of this. This is in Yokohama, Japan. It's near Tokyo. This is a summer festival display of fireworks. 2 barges had fireworks on them, loaded with fireworks. Now, when this all started happening, there were 5 workers on one of those barges that had to dive into the water to get to safety. They were rescued by the Coast Guard, so they're fine. One worker had a minor injury. That's it. Organizers said they lost control of the fireworks on the boats, and this was the result of that. Fireworks are a fixture in summertime festivals like this in Japan. Really lucky that not more people were hurt.
I mean, seriously, it's something that's supposed to be fun, but then it ends up with that. All right, thank you, Jeff. A movie starring 2 Oscar-nominated actors is being used to scare animals. David Daniel has that and more in today's Hollywood Minute.
People used to tell me that you were too selfish to be a great artist, and I used to defend you. They were absolutely right.
All your best acting is behind you. You're back to being a hack.
You gaslighted me.
Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson received Oscar nominations for Marriage Story. Now the Department of Agriculture is using the film to scare wolves away from cattle herds in the western U.S. The Wall Street Journal reports audio of the characters arguing is among the clips being blasted by drones. A USDA supervisor says the idea is to show wolves that humans are bad.
Don't see that every day or ever.
From wolves to dinosaurs, Jurassic World Rebirth lands on digital platforms today. Director Gareth Edwards says filming in Thailand was a mixed bag.
We looked around the world, and Thailand basically is the most perfect, primeval-looking, beautiful paradise kind of location that also has a film industry here. So you've got amazing crew, but it was a slog. It was really hot all day long. I'm not going to get no sympathy whatsoever for this, but it's hard in the jungles and in the waterfalls.
Survival is a long shot.
That's kind of our specialty.
In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
All right, swinging over to weather with meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. You're tracking that system that's to our west, but it's kind of making its way our way.
Should we try that with weather? I mean, should we try arguing and like yelling at it and maybe it would do what we wanted it to do? I don't know. Oh, no more of this rain. Actually, we could still use some rain. We're doing great, actually, though, in terms of our drought monitor, but my yard needs a little bit of water. For today, it's really just going to be a little bit of water. This is a pretty stubborn band that's back to the west. It's been very slow moving this morning. We do have some dry air that's sitting over us, and so I think it's trying to make some headway in our direction, and some of that is evaporating. But beginning to make a little bit more headway, say from Hillsborough northward up through Orange County. Roxborough definitely seeing some showers right now, beginning to push a little farther eastward here across parts of Chatham County and Moore County too. Here's a look at Futurecast, and this is a look at the latest model run. Not too excited about getting this rain here anytime soon. A few stray showers at around 2 or 3, but by 5 o'clock, it's a little bit more widespread and eventually pushes eastward into some of our eastern counties. Whatever we see today is likely to be fairly light and spotty, but we change the pattern again tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're going to see a stronger southerly flow, bringing some tropical moisture in and bringing us the potential for some thunderstorms that could produce some heavy rain. That'll be Wednesday and Thursday. That could continue Friday and Saturday, depending on the development of a coastal low. Here's Roxborough, and you can tell the streets are wet there. Temperatures are cool, 69 right now in the Triangle. Our dew point is 64, so that's still fairly comfortable. It's 64 in Roxborough, 72 in Fayetteville. It is likely to be a little warmer in our southern counties today than elsewhere. It's 70 now in Cary and Apex, 70 in Garner and in Knightdale, and around town looking at mid to upper 70s in the Triangle, but as warm as mid 80s down around Fayetteville. We're going to see that change tomorrow with more tropical moisture surging in. That does give us a better chance for rain, and some of it could be heavy. It bumps up our muggy meter Thursday, Friday, and Saturday back to steamy. Tropical storm Dexter is moving out. Shouldn't be a big deal. It's going to be moving up across the northern part of the Atlantic and then out of here, and we'll end up seeing highs in the 80s for most of this week.
We want to end on giving you a look at your winning NC Education lottery numbers.